Microaggression is a term used for common behavioral or linguistic indignities, whether intentional or unintentional,
that communicate hostile, derogatory, prejudicial attitudes and insults towards culturally marginalized groups.
In the case of this investigation, we have focused solely on microaggressions towards women, specifically two.
Firstly, mansplaining, a systematic and institutionalized form of oppression that silences women, implicitly disclosing the lesser value of the female voice.
We also wish to look into the receiving side of mansplaining. Do children retain information differently when given to them by a male or a female teacher?
And lastly, how gender stereotyping in primary school classes and how they affect in relationships of power between them.
The term mansplaining first emerged in the shape of an idea in 2008. That year, an American writer called Rebecca Solnit published an essay named Men Explain Things to Me that appeared in the Los Angeles Times. Solnit didn't use the word mansplain as such, but she did give an explanation to it, citing a situation when a man had described a book to her without acknowledging that she was the one who wrote it. Afterwards, this word appeared online about a month later in the comments section of a website called LiveJournal Community. Awareness increased slowly but steadily, mostly on feminist blogs, until it was suddenly all over the place. Furthermore, this neologism is present on two levels: in a micro level, in the workplace and the classroom, and in a macro level, in politics, religion, and leadership roles worldwide.
Have you ever experienced any kind of gender discrimination in your academic life, whether as a student or as a teacher?
Well, as a student, I don't remember being discriminated by my gender. But as teacher, I have some stories. But one of them I remember is when I was younger and I obtained a position in the university as assistant professor. And I think some students had problems to accept me as a teacher, and I think it was mainly because I was a woman and young. And in the last days, I don't think it happens anymore because I think as I've become older. But I think in general, what a man says is usually taken more seriously than what a woman says. And I think in general we are living in a sexist society, and I'm sure that all women in a way have experienced this kind of discrimination, for sure.
In this experiment, a male teacher and a female teacher met with an heterogeneous group of 19 children in an assortment of ages between 6 and 12 years old and gave them instructions as what we were going to do. We gave them the same instructions separately, except for one crucial piece of information: the color of one of the instruments we were going to be using. Hello children, my name is Carlos, and today, as you know, we're going to participate in an experiment. So, for this experiment, we're going to bring a brown guitar, a red, a white ball, and a pink doll. So, if you wait here for a minute, we will bring them.
So I don't know if they've already told you about what we're going to do today, but just in case, I'm going to tell you right now. We are going to do a really cool experiment, and we're going to use 3 different things to make this experiment happen: a brown guitar, a white and blue ball, and a doll who is dressed in pink. Okay? Is everything clear? Okay, wonderful. Bye!
Afterwards, a third person gave them some pieces of paper and asked them to write down what they knew about the tools for the experiment.
Okay, I need you to write down the 3 toys that are going to be brought in for the experiment, each one with their colour.
For this, we gathered the following data. Our research has proven that most kids follow the male teacher and wrote the wrong answer instead of the right one, with 11 children writing red and 8 writing blue.
Experiment 2. Right after the kids finished writing about what they'd heard, Ben asked them to draw a teacher without specifying any of the characteristics of said teacher, especially not the gender. The results of this experiment were as follows. We created 3 graphs that represent the results. In this first graph, you can see how many children imagined and therefore drew a male teacher and how many a female teacher. 10 kids in total drew a man and 9 a woman. We also broke down these results by gender in these 2 other graphs. Regarding the boys' results, 8 of them drew a man, while 3 of them drew a woman. Regarding the girls' results, only 2 drew a man, as opposed to the 6 girls who drew a woman.
En tu experiencia profesional, ¿has presenciado algún suceso en el cual un niño o niña se niega a realizar alguna actividad, dado que desde su punto de vista dicha actividad estaba destinado al sexo contrario?
Pues sí, se ha visto mucho, por ejemplo, por ponerte un ejemplo, en los bailes. Cuando hacemos a lo mejor el baile fin de curso, pues hay pasos que ese paso es de chica, más lo quizás los chicos, ese paso es de chica, no quiero hacer eso, o si queremos hacer una pareja que hagan algo, es que yo no pienso salir ahí con la niña a hacer eso sí que es bastante lógico y normal que pase. En las niñas sí que veo que quieren más jugar al fútbol, hacer más cosas de chicos, como más, que ya no se ven ellas tan en su posición de chica.
Sí, sobre todo por mi profesión, que es profesor de educación física, se ve muy claro ese tipo de situaciones. Por ejemplo, cuando damos fútbol, por ejemplo, las niñas, la mayoría, a lo mejor hay 1 o 2 que sí, pero la mayoría no les gusta. Iniciamos una actividad y a lo mejor se van, quiero beber agua, se sientan aparte y no quieren realizar esa actividad.
¿Crees que en el centro se hace suficiente para combatir estas actitudes?
Considero que sí. Todas las actividades están destinadas a todo tipo de sexos, o sea que...
¿Qué actitudes tomas tú en tu propia clase?
Nosotros ahora trabajamos mucho en nuestra clase este tema, lo estamos llevando desde el año pasado con un poquito más de interés, incluso poniendo vídeos, leyendo historias y hablando el tema cada vez que sale. Yo aprovecho cualquier oportunidad, por ejemplo, en los cumpleaños ponen cada crío una canción. Cuando eligen una canción de tono reggaetón con connotaciones muy... aprovecho para luego, ¿qué os ha parecido? Y empezamos a hablar del tema. Pues ahora que lo dices, tienes razón. Y ellos ya van... O sea, que utilizo cualquier excusa para un poco hablar de ese tema y ver cómo piensan ellos.
Introduzco reglas en las que pueda participar todos, tanto niñas como niños. Porque si no, los niños, como se suele decir, chupan mucho y no pasan el balón. Entonces introduzco reglas como puede ser... por ejemplo, en un deporte tienes que pasar todo el balón por todo el equipo antes de que puedan introducir el balón en la portería o en la canasta o así.
Cuando creas una actividad, ¿piensas en la preferencia de dichos niños o niñas en base a su sexo? Es decir, las niñas una fotocopia de colorear princesas y para los niños una de colorear robots, por ejemplo.
No lo hago, pero sí que es cierto que cuando sacas un montón de fotocopias, por ejemplo, cuando terminan un trabajo pueden hacer pues mandalas. Y sí se nota, ¿eh? O sea, aunque yo no lo haga caso hecho, tú pones un montón de fichas y vas viendo. Como las crías, todas van a las princesitas, y los críos, pues, ¡ay, que no hay de fútbol! Ya te están protestando. O sea, que no lo hago, pero es verdad que a veces te lo exigen, ¿eh? Ya te están pidiendo. Se ha acabado justo esta, que era la de chicas, y ya lo están diciendo. Tú, bueno, ¿qué más da si estás monísima? Bueno, sí, pero... O sea, que sí se ve, ¿eh?
Jamás. Pienso en actividades. No pienso en niños y niñas, en actividades y que va, jamás he pensado en el sexo.
¿Sueles realizar actividades con equipos mixtos o sueles establecer los equipos por sexo?
Siempre mixtos. De hecho, procuro que si los dejo libres, que suele ocurrir que cuando les dejas que elijan, a veces se crea uno solo chicas o uno solo chicas. Procuro que no pase, porque además creo que enriquece el que haya chicos y chicas. Cada uno aportan cosas y me gusta que estén mixtos.
¿Qué patrón sueles seguir a la hora de realizar actividades en grupo?
Pues bueno, ellos ya lo saben, pues claro, ya me van conociendo, pero siempre hago, como he comentado antes, juegos para que en todos los equipos haya niños y niñas. Y siempre hay, normalmente son 4 o 5 equipos por clase y siempre el primero, entre comillas, niño, después niña, niño, niña, y vamos seleccionando el resto, pero siempre mixtos.
¿Has visto algo llamativo en el material usado en cuanto a gender stereotypes?
Yo creo que se intenta en todas las editoriales evitarlo, ¿eh? Entonces yo creo que ahora se trabaja muchísimo que no haya nada que pueda generar ni la más mínima duda. Yo creo que ahora en los materiales está bastante bien hecho, pienso yo, ¿eh?
¿Qué cambios impulsarías como docente para promover una educación más inclusiva y sin diferencias de ningún tipo?
Habría que hacer cambios, habría que intentar hacer muchos cambios. El uniforme quizás sea un primer problema que puede ya ir marcando diferencias. Y luego, por ejemplo, en los recreos, bajo mi punto de vista, habría que trabajar en juegos más inclusivos. Y yo creo que deberíamos implicarnos los profesores, los adultos, porque en cuanto los dejas solos, si te das cuenta, tienden los niños al fútbol, las niñas sentaditas haciendo cosas. Sin embargo, a nada que tú te implicas y haces algo diferente. Yo, por ejemplo, el otro día me puse a jugar con ellos a polis y cacos y aparecieron chicos ya toda la clase junta. Parece que ya la cosa cambió. Entonces yo creo que si nos implicaríamos un poco, terminaríamos más rápido con estas diferencias.
Pues como he dicho, introducir nuevas reglas en las que las niñas no se sientan discriminadas, actividades en las que ellas también puedan destacar, no que siempre destaquen los niños y...
A ver, considero que en este centro en concreto no hay actividades que distingan entre sexos, pero sí es verdad que conforme los niños van creciendo, van avanzando, sobre todo, aunque esté mal que lo diga, en educación física, siempre se ven 2 grandes grupos con diferentes actividades. Entonces yo como docente quizás intentaría mediante juegos o cualquier metodología que eso cambiara. Y si no, pues obligar un poquito a los niños y a las niñas a ponerse en el rol de la otra persona.
How do you consider we should act regarding gender stereotypes?
Well, I think it's important the explicit messages that we give to children. We can say that for men and women in our society, at least in our society, anything is possible. But I think we should work also on these hidden messages that we give. And I think it's very important that we adults, we should reflect about how these gender stereotypes are influencing our own behaviors and our own opinions and our expectations about men and women. And if we fight that, that's the way I think we can send these messages, these new messages of equality for children. For example, I think in general, at school, it's very important that teachers, they really analyze in what ways gender discrimination or gender stereotypes are affecting the daily life at school. For instance, why girls don't play football or any other sport in the breaks at school. Why is that happening? So things like that. I think we should reflect about how we are sending these hidden messages to children about differences between men and women.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Every day, hiding from the sunshine, wandering in the shade, not too old, not too young, every night again, dancing with
presented with 3 toys individually: a guitar, a ball, and a doll, as we wish to see how they would differentiate between a sporty toy, a creative toy, and a nurturing toy. Individually, we noticed that boys tended to go for the ball first, quite aggressively, hitting the walls, making noise with no real regard for where they were, whereas girls went for the guitar quite softly, and those who did go for the ball tended to have more regard of where they were and the situation. In the group experiment, we can see a clear alpha in the eldest boy, who was followed closely by the younger boys. They took control of the toys as they pleased, finally settling in a corner to sit with the ball. The younger children tried to join but were frozen out, especially the girls, the eldest of which, Sophia, was silent and observed goings-on. We noticed that the boys, straight for the doll, they had some kind of obsession with seeing what was underneath the clothes. Most of the younger children came to me and asked, "Oh, we're bored, we can't play with the toys." Many of the girls were sitting and just talking because they realised that they weren't going to get a chance to play with anything if the boys were there, so they sat back, which then led the boys to play as they wished because no one was questioning them.
The construction of gender stereotypes.
Well, we have first to say that there is a natural tendency of human beings to organize the reality in categories. So we tend to reduce the complex reality in things that are similar. And then we have a tendency to classify things in women and men, or for example in your political ideas in right or left. So there is a tendency, and then the way we form these categories is children are able to analyze the reality, and then very easily they identify that the individuals can be categorized in men and women. And at the beginning they look at the appearance of people, and then they tend to classify as men or women depending on the way we move, depending on the clothes we wear, or even our voice pitch. And later they developed more deep knowledge about what is about men and women with their daily experiences in interaction with parents, with peers, with teachers, and through messages of the mass media. So they develop an idea about behaviors and jobs and expectations about that are different for men and women.
Okay. So in which manner do you think gender stereotypes influence girls and boys?
Well, social stereotypes are a form of schemas. And then once you have formed a schema about men and women, they help you understand social life, and then makes you generate expectations about what you can expect, about behaviors or positions that men and women can have in a given society.
Okay. So how do gender stereotypes affect the construction of one's identity?
Well, once a specific child knows that it's a boy or a girl and realizes that it's part of a broad social group, I mean, okay, I'm a boys group or I'm a girls group, I belong to that group, then people tend to conform to what they have learned about what is expected from you to do because you are a boy or you are a girl. Then, in a way, gender stereotypes are affecting the way children behave once they realize they are part of this social group. I have an instance to tell you. We did a study a few years ago, and we studied academic achievement, and more specifically mathematics achievement in primary school children. And although in our study we didn't find a difference in the performance and in the ability of mathematics in children between boys and girls, girls tending to show a lower self-concept on mathematics. So the differences in their performance it didn't happen, but they thought they had a less ability. And I think it matches very well with the stereotype that mathematics is for boys and not girls.
Microaggressions have side effects that are constantly under development. These include women feeling invalidated, men feeling confidence that doesn't necessarily respond with their actions, and self-esteem issues for the people on the receiving end. This wide subject has given us a number of new topics in the form of concepts, such as mansplaining, studies that try to find out just how much microaggressions affect people, as well as different methodologies to avoid them and their underlying consequences. As you have been able to see, microaggressions have had a significant influence on our past, as these behaviors were a day-to-day ordeal. Our present society, where terms like mansplaining are in the spotlight due to these actions being recognized, and sadly our future, since these mannerisms are sometimes reproduced in our children. As teachers, we have the power to break this cycle by being self-aware and mindful of everything we say or do, as it is really easy to err in this matter. You never know what a kid might take away from your classes, so you should always try to make it something that makes everyone's existence just a little easier.